And welcome to another edition of South Texas Crossfire. This is Attorney Joe Flores reminding you to join us each and every week right here on KTMV with the Lopez family. Special thanks to Don Humberto Lozano Lopez. He passed away in 2011, but he's honored, he's venerated, he's never forgotten. And let's not forget my good friend Carlos Lopez. You guessed it, the Ted Turner of South Texas Broadcasting. With me here is my good friend and your district judge for the 319th District Court, and that's none other than Judge David Stith. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for having me.
Good. Well, I'm glad you got to come on. Last time you came on, we were talking about you and your brother and your dad. Everybody came down from Dallas and now living here. How's the family doing?
Family's doing great. Daughter's 2 years old, running around, yelling and screaming and loving life, so everything's going really good.
Well, you've got the primaries just passed. Hate to date my shows, but, you had a very hotly contested Republican race with Joe McComb and Brent Chesney. I think that kind of electrified the Republican Party. Same thing on our side here on the Democratic Party as well, with Marty Huerta as judge. Now, that was a shocker, but our congratulations to Judge Madrigal, that is serving right now as far as going into the primary. But right now she does, I believe, magistrate work.
She's a magistrate judge. Yeah.
And but she's going to be running against Tim McCoy in November.
That's right.
And the general. So, we're an equal opportunity here, and we bring on Republican and Democrats. So tell the audience a little bit about your education, training, and background. Again, reintroduce yourself to them.
Sure. Graduated from University of North Texas with a psychology degree. Thought that's what I wanted to do for a while. And actually, I don't know if I told you this before, but I spent some time working with kids at a Class 5 residential treatment facility for kids who were abused and neglected or had mental health issues. So I did that as a house parent for a little while during the summers. And then when I graduated college, before I knew I was even accepted into law school, I went back and was a house parent again. And I got to tell you, it's provided me an interesting base to go on, because so many of the people we deal with in court have issues relating to their family and health and mental health. It's kind of amazing to see a lot of people that seem to get in trouble criminally have had a hard time in their life. They really have. They haven't come from the perfect families. And so it's at least given me an insight into seeing the people that come before me, because when I sentence a person, I want to sentence them based on their unique factors, and there are other things certainly that I deal with, but it's important that we don't have a system of justice that's a ATM machine. You've done this, you get that. That's not the way we practice, or not the way, certainly I don't practice. So I think that was one of the things in my life that has really helped me doing the things that I do now.
You come from a unique background in that you were a defense attorney. The majority of your clients were Hispanic. Mm-hmm. So you work with a lot of Latinos, but yet you're what I guess the public thinks is conservative because you're a Republican. But at the same time, you saw the disparity of, I wouldn't say prosecution, but there were a larger number of Hispanics and blacks. In my opinion, nobody else's. I think there's mass incarceration. You and I have practiced federal law together, as well as your opponent in November. She comes from a same or similar background a lot in that. But you kind of touched on something I want to ask. We're running out of jail cells. I think we incarcerate more people in the world than anybody else.
Tell you, New Essex County Jail was at 103% 2 weeks ago.
You ask another Republican, Sheriff Kalin, and he says they ought to decriminalize marijuana yesterday. So, what are your views as far as solutions or alternatives to just housing people?
Okay, I can certainly talk about that. I would love to talk more about my specific thoughts on those types of cases, but I can't, obviously, because those cases come before me.
You're a judge.
As a judge, I'm limited in what I can talk about.
Exactly.
But I can tell you this. What I try to do and what I do in my court is, for low-level, nonviolent offenders, jail is not the place for them. That is not what we do with low-level, nonviolent offenders. We have, especially as we see the news these days, we have a lot of violent crimes in Nueces County. We need to make sure we have the space to put people behind bars that need to be behind bars. People that can be out there either going through rehab or working in the community or doing their own rehab in the community. That needs to happen. People need to take personal responsibility. And we can't, as a society, warehouse low-level nonviolent offenders. We just can't do it. The cost is too high.
Well, I was talking with a very good fellow, Mr. Villarreal, and he's helping out these youth, South Texas Youth Congress. We're going to be bringing him on the other half of the show. What would you like to tell them? These are up-and-coming young leaders, Latino leaders, as far as they're going to be talking with legislators. They're going to be the next generation. They're going to be the ones that are making it happen. We're passing the baton. Not that we're too old yet, but we're getting up there. Everybody says that you're the Dookie Howser judge. They say you're a district judge. But they think you're 10 years younger. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely touch on that. And I not only have I done defense work, but I've done prosecution in county and federal work. But I got to tell you, if there's one thing I could say when you bring them on, is that an individual can bring change. One individual can bring change. When I came to Nueces County, obviously, we've talked about it. I came here in 2002. Haven't lived here my whole life. But I wanted to make a change in our legal community. I wanted to make a difference. And through the various programs with the Bar Association, I was able to accomplish a whole lot. From remember Doug Tinker?
God, man, excellent attorney, man.
We got a room. We got a lawyer's area set aside where we have a remembrance of Doug Tinker in there. I got Wi-Fi established in the courtroom, started a Spanish for Lawyers program. There are numerous things that wouldn't have been done but for somebody taking the initiative. So when you bring on these youth, tell them they can make a difference in the world. One person truly can. I know we say that all the time, but I'm living proof. Who would have believed, somebody from moving here in 2002 could eventually become district judge and be able to serve the community in that capacity. I think it's amazing, and I'm just lucky to been given the opportunity.
And a lot of the issues that we're looking at, I think that come November, a lot of people, and I'm just talking about parties in general, I think the Democratic Party here locally takes a lot of the Latino vote for granted. But yet we've got issues. These are statewide elections going right now. Some of the statewide candidates are far left to Hispanics. We've got, if you put a formula and you have a generally conservative culture, hardworking, and trying to, there has to be when you get on Republican candidates, I know you can't comment as a judge, but I always tell them, there has to be a bigger tent if they're going to try to court the Latino vote. And so I know you as a judge don't have the time to go knock on 200,000 doors in Nueces County, but you have the opportunity right now to knock on the doors of 100,000 Latinos. What would you tell them? They say, why should I voted Democrat all my life, or I voted, why should I give you a chance? You're a Republican. I shouldn't vote for you.
And last election I went out block walking, and I probably would do the same. I knocked on a lot of doors, probably 6,000 or 7,000 doors last time. God. And so I did get that question. And for me it's different. When I came down, I wanted to come to Corpus Christi, and I didn't realize when I came down here that it's 60% Hispanic and whatever white.
That and 90% of them are Democrat, right?
Right, and that never crossed my mind. I just don't see a person as Hispanic or white, and I wish more people follow that on both sides of the Republican-Democrat spectrum. I don't think race should be a factor at all. I think you should look at the person who you are thinking about voting for and determining whether or not they fit with what you believe you want your community servants to be like. And for me, I believe in hard work. I believe in the family, and I believe in giving people a chance that deserve a chance. And so I know it's easy to say, well, Hispanics are traditionally Democrat and whites are traditionally Republican. I wish that would be abolished. I really do. I don't like viewing it that way, and I don't like seeing our community as that way. I see our community as our community. I don't see courting the Latino vote or courting the white vote. I see as doing a good job, and hopefully our community as a whole believes that I'm doing the right choices and the right things.
Well, and I would agree with you that at least 10 or 15%, you got a county judge that was Democrat and then turned Republican. You've got a state rep that in the remote past was a Democrat, turned Republican in Todd Hunter. Theo Todd, right? That's what Hispanics call him. El Tío, right? And it's because a lot of people, they have that broad range of support. because they humble themselves and go ask for the vote. You know, they don't take it for granted. I mean, I know you block walked a lot. So that, again, is underlining, you know, that you can't take the Latino vote for granted anymore. And this last election, presidential, that proved it. I think that Romney and everybody going so hard on the immigration policy, they paid a heavy price for that nationally.
Right, I think you're right about that. And certainly I'm hoping that when I get out there again and start talking to people, they don't label me, well, you're a white Republican and I've always voted Democrat. And to the people that allow me to talk with them, by the end of the time I'm done knocking on their doors, they say, that's great, you know, you're my candidate. So if I'm given that chance, I think I can change their minds from people that have voted traditionally Democrat all their lives. Don't vote one way just because that's the way your parents voted and that's the way you've always voted for. Look at the person and vote for the candidate.
Well, and I hope you stick around here, hear what some of the South Texas Congress has to say, and maybe we get you back on for a little rebuttal. I know you're busy. You know, and people don't know what district court does, and I think if they knew that you handled anything from divorces to capital murder, that it is it's something else. Anything else you'd like to add for our audience? Because I'm going to be playing this like Stairway to Heaven, brother, all throughout the summer, over and over again.
It is a very important position that you should not vote on merely because of a D or an R. And just like what you said, there is a lot of very serious things that happen in a district court. You know, I'll be handling, just for an example, before I came to the show, I was deciding custody on a certain case. Before that, I was deciding whether or not a person goes to rehab or goes to prison. You know, and these are all very important issues that you want to make sure the right person is in there. And obviously, I think I'm the right person, or else I wouldn't be here telling you about it. But I would love to tell your listeners to come by and watch what we do there. Come by and say hi, and I'll spend a moment talking with them in chambers and letting them know exactly what we do.
You love what you do?
I love what I do.
And your brother, the ER physician down the road, Dr. Stith, I've met him before. He's really cool, man.
Yeah.
So I'm going to invite your opponent on.
Sure.
And I might say maybe a little debate or counterpoint, maybe not in the same room, but I'll ask the same set of questions come October. That way the voters are very well informed. And I have extended that invitation to her, and just want to let everybody know out there, recuerde que su voto es su voz. Si no votas, no puedes quejar después. If you don't vote, you can't complain later. Get involved in the process. We're going to take a little break, but thank you for coming on,
Absolutely.
Judge. Appreciate it. Judge David Stith, your judge, 319th District Court, running again in November, seeking your vote. If you want to get involved, what's the magic number if they want to get a yard sign or a campaign going of their own to help you out?
361-658-2720, John Lorenzi.
658-2720 is the magic number, 658-2720. They want to become your friend on Facebook?
Definitely join. I would love to have you as my friend.
And it's
just David
Judge
Stith.
Stith or just David
Stith.
Stith. And we're going to come back with the South Texas Youth Congress. They're blowing up my phone. I know it's going to be good when we come back.
Have you been arrested or are potentially facing criminal charges? You need a trial attorney who is well-versed in the courtroom. Joe Flores has handled hundreds of criminal cases and many of them to trial. Joe Flores can provide you with competent representation to protect your constitutional rights in state and federal court. Joe Flores can help if you have been arrested or facing criminal charges. The law offices of Joe Flores. Equal justice for all. Have you or a loved one suffered a stroke, heart attack, unexplained low blood pressure, or death during dialysis? The FDA has issued warnings and recalled the product GranuFlo and Naturalite used in dialysis. At least one national company failed to warn the public that over 900 people had suffered cardiac arrest or death. A condition called metabolic alkalosis developed, which may have caused the harm. Call the law offices of Joe Flores today. With a combined 25 years of experience in the medical field and as a trial lawyer, Joe Flores can help. Call now.
Hi, this is attorney and board-certified nurse practitioner Joe Flores on behalf of Vasquez Flores Home Health. Nursing homes have their place, but having care in your own home is very important. Call today for more information. Backed by over 20 years of experience, registered nurse Priscilla Vasquez can answer your questions about home care. Call 881-9922, that's 881-9922 today.